Previously on Lemmings 2, The Tribes. Enough! I'm sorry everybody, I kinda was having a couple of really bad flashbacks about the circus tribe. So anyway, welcome to this Let's Play of Lemmings to the Tribes. We're 6 tribes done with the game, so now it's time to tackle the second half of the game. And we're gonna start with the tribe of which there can only be one. Wait, that's not this Highlander. We're talking about the Highlands, the one that we have in the United Kingdom. We're talking about Scotland. Hawk here in order to save some lemmings. Okay, this might not be the ideal way in order to save lemmings, but come on. These lemmings are from Scotland. They're indestructible. There's no way you can fuck with them. In fact, they even have like this orange hairdo, which definitely gives them a pretty unique look. Luke, use the twister! And then use the bazooka after that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done disrespecting Scotland for good. Okay, now I'm done for real. So yeah, the Island tribe is definitely a pretty colorful tribe. There's definitely a whole lot of charm to it. I especially like the animation that plays whenever you hand levels, where they just kinda tumble backwards into this phone booth. For some reason, phone booths kinda seem to be one of the recurring themes for some of the other tribes in the game, because a later tribe in the game will also have them escape through phone booths, but Highlands is the first one that do this. Long live Doctor Who. So, like most first levels in tribes, this one is pretty self-explanatory. You could pretty much twister your way through this entire level if you wanted to, but bazookas are always good to use for a laugh. Also, the Highland tribe definitely loves to use cap locks. Way beasties! I swear that at this point, DMA Design or, well, Rockstar Games is just looking for me in order to get me hunt down or something. So now we're back with a little bit more classic Lemmings 2 level, where we're gonna have to free our lemming from underneath because we don't have any kind of digging tools that will allow us to go all the way down. So we have to send one lemming do all of the little wraparound from top to the right and then all the way to the bottom in order to fence up so that they will meet up with the lemmings that are currently falling in the pit, and it's our lemming over here which is gonna do all of the work. As much as I like the lemmings with the blue robes and the orange hair, I kinda don't like, however, the ones that have the orange dress as well in the blue hair. It just doesn't seem like a good match. But yeah, a whole lot of environmental hazards into this tribe, such as poodles, good old Scottish poodles. So, while there are many ways in order to get your lemming to the other side in order to fence the way for everybody, I mean, just look at all of the skills that we did not use at all, but yeah, essentially the way that I did it is pretty much the most self-explanatory way in order to do it. Running jumps are always good in order to get you to places that seem like they will be hard to get to. While I'd say that most of the first half of Highland is pretty easy, at least most of the levels do have like the courtesy of giving like drastically different levels in order to give some variety, so at least even though it's kind of on the uneventful side, most of these levels at least have some fun factor because the solution is usually never the same. And here we have one of these levels that definitely is way more than meets the eye. Or is it the opposite? Because looking at the giant mess of springboards that are all over the place, that level seems really intimidating, but yeah, you will soon notice that your lemmings are not gonna be able to spring all the way into that tiny tunnel all the way up here. But, however, they can totally jump all the way up here if they land on that one trampoline from way above, and that's essentially your path that you have to come here. And once that you're here, you just have to fill this hole, and here we go. This level might seem pretty intimidating, but as soon as you figure out the one springboard from which to jump on, the rest of the level will pretty much come down in a heartbeat. In a way, this is a level that probably would have fitted in the circus tribe. I mean, I definitely will see this whole network of springboard fit into a circus environment, so who knows why it was in Highland, but yeah, I guess we needed levels like that one level where we needed to bash through a whole bunch of tunnels and do absolutely nothing interesting. This is what the people in the circus business are paying in order to see. Okay, now I said that most of the first half of Highland was pretty easy. With that said, this is one level that definitely gave me a lot of trouble as a kid. Although in retrospect, I'm not entirely sure what was the big hubbub with it, but yeah, this level is called a mere stone throw, and it is one of those levels that seem to have been made for the sole purpose of featuring one skill, and then you use that skill and then never again throughout the entire game. So the name of the level is the clue that will tell you what you have to do in order to win. You have to use a thrower in order to build a staircase out of rocks. That's absolutely not an orthodox solution or anything, but for this one level it definitely makes a whole lot of sense. And once that you've built all of the rocks over here, the only thing that you have to do after that is to use your filler in order to bridge the entire thing. But with that said, it will be good if no lemmings got trapped behind, but that's okay, because we do have fencers and jumpers in order to fix any mistakes that we make with the filling after all of this, so this level is pretty forgiving in that one instance. And I was gonna say, and now jump to victory, but it seems as if we've cut off a little bit too much of our bridge. But that's okay, as long as we've got fillers, everything is possible. We're just gonna have to pour in a little bit more liquid, and then the jumping all the way up here is gonna... Oh, never mind the jumping part. It was not even necessary, so like I said, this level is pretty lenient, so don't feel too bad about this one level. It doesn't seem too practical to make a staircase out of rocks, but just trust in it. Throwers could also be used in order to throw rocks along the way, and then that you will use the stones in order to prevent your lemmings from continuing in that one direction, but unfortunately thrower is a skill that never gets used ever again in the game, so whatever. So why am I still talking about the thrower? Because Donald, where's your lemming? It's here, we found it! So yeah, it's one of those levels where you have to maneuver one of those contraptions with the fan. It's kind of a tricky swing that you have to do, because the way that you do it, you have to swing the lemming on the platform at the opposite of where he's looking at, so that he's gonna be walking toward the pit, and then you can just use a platformer or even a builder if you just wanted all of your lemmings in order to get to the same exit. So yeah, all in all, this level, however, is pretty unremarkable. I've never really been too big of a fan of these contraptions that you have to use a fan in order to make them swing around. They kinda could be interesting, but I feel that most of the time their potential is kinda wasted. So yeah, we're already done with the first half of the Highland tribe, but now, in the second tribe, we will have to face Brigadoon and a whole lot of other things.